What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and Everton have won 3-0 against Crystal Palace. A performance that was solid, strong, quick, aggressive. It was everything that we've needed to bounce back after 3 poor games where we've not attacked. And you can clearly see that was a tactical decision now, because Everton were a million times better today than they were against any of those teams. Everton were quick in attack, they were nice with the ball, they did everything well today. There was not a bad performance today at all. The only bad performance was Simon Hooper, the referee, who I have no idea how AU doesn't get a booking. I don't understand how Zaha stays on the pitch. Even Mateta, who had just come on, absolutely flies through Cody, having already just got Tarkowski by the scruff of the neck. And although Tarkowski's laughing at him because he'd probably flatten him, it just made me laugh. So Crystal Palace come back from Goodison having their arse handed to him, to be honest. They got absolutely dominated start to finish by a 5-minute period at the start of the second half. And the goals were great. We scored early, 10 minutes in. Calvert-Lewin gets the ball into feet from a lovely pass from Iwobi, just touches it round the corner and slots it home, makes it 1-0. And Everton do have chances. Ball comes in from corners, headers over the bar. Keeper has to make a save, poor Palace. But you can't say the same of Palace down the other end. They just didn't have the ball in the final third enough. And when they did nothing with it. And that was because Coleman was on form. Mikalenko was solid. The 2 centre-halves were brilliant, as always. Anana, in my opinion, had his best game in the blue shirt today. He looked composed, he looked solid, he looked every bit of the player that we have wanted to see. And we've seen in glimpses, we've seen for 70 minutes, but today he put in a really, really solid performance. And, yeah, comes off, pat on the back, brilliant. Garner was the same. I'd argue that was probably his best performance, having come back. Alex Iwobi, I'm going to single out. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. Gordon, I was on about dropping him. He came back. He showed that attitude adjustment in the game. You know, he'd gone from being this... I would have dropped him, and actually he started this game really well. His intensity was brilliant. He was trying to get more balls into the box. He was linking up with Calvert-Lewin much better. He was coming short and supporting Coleman. It was just an all-round better performance from him. Damari Gray, again, nice and tidy on the ball as we always expect. But today, instead of him doing too much, he did just enough of everything. You know, sometimes he's guilty of not tracking back, and sometimes he's not guilty of maybe putting a foot in or running down blind alleys. But today, he was solid. He just did exactly what he needed to do. He created and caused problems. You know, the Palace defenders didn't know which way he was going to go. He could either go down the left and cross the ball in, he could go right. He played really well. And Calvert-Lewin showed exactly why we've missed him today. His hold-up play was brilliant. He took his goal really well. He probably should have had another one. He just absolutely changed the attack of this Everton side. And look, it's going to be a period of time before Lewin is back to his absolute best. But today, I was really, really happy with him. Really, really impressed with him. And I'm glad he got his goal. Now I want to talk about Alex Iwobi, who today was absolutely brilliant. And I've gone on about Alex all season because he's been a player that over the years I've said that I wanted to sell. I don't like him. I felt like he had the right attitude, but the wrong level of ability. I felt like we'd overpaid for him. Alex Iwobi absolutely deserves a new contract. He's the first name on the team sheet. His energy has been unbelievable. I think that's 6 assists now in the Premier League this season and a goal, which has eclipsed anything he's done before. He was absolutely brilliant the whole time he was on the pitch today. His energy, up and down, his tracking back, his tackling, his ball carrying, his skills, everything, absolutely everything. And that was epitomised in the third goal, because he gets the ball in a position where I think 6 months ago he runs away from the goalkeeper and he makes a complete mess of it. And today he rolls it back after a beautiful through ball into the path of Dwight McNeil, who has a tapping to make it 3-0. And this isn't the Iwobi that we saw for years. He was so good today that he doesn't just get my man of the match. To be honest, that was the best performance I've seen from an Everton player probably this year. And bearing in mind we're in October. So he was absolutely fantastic today. It was just good to see. It was exactly what Everton needed. Palace were poor. When you think they've got Eze, Elise, Zaha, Ayew, and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing apart from be really too aggressive, try and start fights, and didn't win anything. They didn't win anything. They got absolutely smashed today. And Vieira will be fuming because that performance looked like it was of a team that would struggle. And they won't. I mean, they won't struggle. Defensively, they're usually fine. But Everton was so good today, they couldn't cope with us. And it moves Everton up to 12th, which, let's be honest, is a position that no Everton fan really wants to say that they're happy with. But actually, having seen the performances and the results where we are, 13 points in, teams below us like Villa and Leeds and Leicester and, you know, Forest today picking up points. It was a needed 3 points, and we got it, and we've just got to kick on. We've just got to kick on. I am chuffed with that performance. I really am. And I think a lot of praise also goes out to Lampard, because even before this game, I was talking about in the match reaction against Newcastle about whether he's going to have the experience. Well, he learnt a lesson in that Newcastle game. Everton didn't go for it. And in that game, Newcastle, I'm not going to say they were there for the taking, because Newcastle were a good side, and I saw a lot of the stick that some Everton creators have got from saying things like Newcastle were there for the taking. They wasn't. They've lost once this season. They're playing really well at home. But what we saw today was Everton are a good team defensively and can go forward and attack teams. We've scored 3 goals for the first time this season. It's 3 goals for a long time, since probably since the Palace game last season, where we were 2-0 down at half time. We stayed up. So it is huge today. Absolutely huge. And that'll give us confidence going to Fulham next week, which is a tough game. But Everton have got to be confident that they can go and get a result. And then we finish off with Bournemouth in the, I think, we are away at Bournemouth or home. We're home and then away to Bournemouth. So, look, there's points to be had. Everton just going to keep marching on. And it's always great when Liverpool lose and Everton win, ain't it? Little shout out to Jordan Pickford as well today, because although he didn't have loads to do when he was called upon, he was absolutely solid. And bearing in mind, over the last few weeks, you know, people have criticised his positioning. They criticised him when he gave that penalty away against Spurs and Harry Kane, etc. None of that actually matters, because today, in front of the crowd, he stood up and he was counted for, and he was brilliant as well. So, yeah, really, really happy with that Everton performance, and we just kick on. Guys, I'm leaving it there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep smiling. Up the toughies. Peace.